it's just so disingenuous. And but what I will say about the different definitions of racism,
Yeah.
we talked about this on the show yesterday. One thing that does irk me a little bit on the left is that we talk about all the time how left-wing dialogue is almost necessarily academic, and so you lose people real quick if you can't break it down. And it's not that they're dumb, it's that they haven't been taught, these topics. And one of the topics that really irk me is when people get into like these deep arguments saying, well, black people can't be racist, right? That bothers me. It
No.
really bothers me because
I
listen,
hope we feel the same way about this, because that definition drives me crazy.
it's there's
Oh my God.
it has no practical value the way I see it.
Yeah.
Because look, textbook, university, academically, that statement is correct. Black people can't be racist because
I reject
by
it
the
so
technical
hard.
definition, the technical definition is that racism is enacted through power structures, and since black people don't have control of power structures, they can't be racist. But let's be real, colloquially and conversationally, that is not what racist means. It's not.
No.
Like, the racist means prejudice. Like, that's the same thing. So
Yeah.
when you go up and you get into actual, like, I see people just get indignant. It's like, how dare you? Of course, it's like, listen, man, you are losing your entire audience. You're putting them on. Most people don't know that. Maybe they should, fine, but they don't. So why have the argument? Like why bother? I don't see what good comes out of that. And we shoot ourselves in the foot all the time doing stupid conversations like that when we don't have to. But is that your thought as well?
I legitimately despise that definition.
Glad to hear it.
I
Glad to hear
despise
it.
it. It drives me up the wall, because like you were saying, like, who does that definition even serve? Like, truthfully speaking, it feels like it's one of those things where like a white person thought of that inside of like Berkeley and was just like trying like so hard to virtue signal, and then just ran with it, and then every other academic ran with it, and then they disseminated it throughout all the different like universities in the country. Because like, logically speaking, to me it just makes no sense, because in the sense, that if you just look across how many different like countries there are in the world, like, so for instance, it is, maybe people don't want to hear this, but over in like Southeast Asia, there's a lot of people who live in that part of the world who find black people to be dirty. They just think that they're dirty. Now imagine somebody from Vietnam feels that way, and they come over here to America, and they are racist in every way that we would think that a white person could be racist to a black person, but it's happening from a Vietnamese person to a black person, because that Vietnamese person isn't white. They're not in America, in a country where they don't have a power structure. All of a sudden, that exact same like mentality, that exact same behavior, all of a sudden it's not racist.
Yeah. Racism is
like
based
logically
on proximity,
speaking,
apparently. Yeah.
how can you hold that position? How does that make any logical sense whatsoever? And so when you're trying to find ways to play 4D chess with these definitions, you have to stop and just ask yourself, like, what is the purpose of what you're doing right now? Is it actually hitting the intention that you originally thought you were trying to get to? Because at the end of the day, discriminating against somebody for the color of their skin should be the only definition of racism. The end. Like, you are going after somebody in some variety of manner for the color of their skin, for the different color of their skin. Racism. The end. Like, why make it more difficult than that?
Yeah, it's needlessly elaborate. I think I just don't understand, like, why burn calories on something like that when we could actually have conversations that are helpful. But conservatives use that. They use that against us all the time, and I would too, because you go up and you tell, listen, did you know they said black people can't be racist? Your average person with no political affiliation is going to say, that's insane. What are they talking about? Like, it's like the classroom stuff, fine, I get it, but like in real life, we have to actually live in real life. I want to pivot real quick to something I should have brought up like 10 minutes ago, but you were talking about how Vivek went to the fucking coward's last refuge when it comes to shootings, talking about mental health, which is where conservatives go to all the time.
This should not be happening in the United States. Something like this never happens again.
And
they love it.
It's always, they love it. And it's, I mean, funny is the wrong word, like exasperating that they do this, because they say this like, okay, we have a mental health crisis in this country. That's why we have all these killings. It's like, okay, wait, why is America having a higher mental health crisis than everybody else? They're not having these shit. But if that's the case, let's say that's the case, fine. For some weird reason, there's something in the water and it's making everybody crazy. What do you plan to do about this? Yeah, what do you plan to do about this? Are you going to, you know, enact policies to make healthcare universal so people can be treated? No,
stealing my lines here.
Oh no, go for it. Go for it. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
No, you know, you're 100% right, because every time that I hear this, I have a very similar take. You know, it's and I've been saying this for quite a few years now, you know, doing this political commentary. If you know what, let me just like step back from all the statistics that we have on gun violence, and I'll just take a step back from that for a second. I'm gonna put the gun debate to the side just for a moment here, even though we are specifically talking about guns. If you want to focus this on mental health, if that's the lane you want to stay in, then where the hell is the action? Where is it? Where, like, just, you know, if you are saying that this is a mental health crisis, this is an emergency, because you know what? Because they also talk about the emergency at the southern border, right? They talk about that all the time. The border. We did an episode last week where DeSantis was like, we got to send drone strikes into Mexico because this is a crisis. So when it comes to other crises, you are willing to have all kinds of action,
all the king's horses and all the king's men, like
actions that violate international law. Like, that's how important it is to you. But when it comes to this crisis, crickets.
Nothing at all. Nothing.
Literally nothing.
Same with abortion. Like they believe all these human beings are being massacred. They are willing to move heaven and earth to make it stop. But actual human beings getting massacred, sorry, no can do. Well, but Vivek actually said something that I've heard a couple of times. I haven't heard many conservatives say this. I'm trying to think of the last guy I heard say this. I can't remember, but Vivek said that it was I think it was Kristi Noem. It was Kristi Noem or Nikki Haley, I can't remember, but said in the interview with Dana Bash that what we need to do is bring back the practice of putting people into psychiatric institutions.
Vivek said that as well.
Yeah, that serves a threat to others. And that's interesting that he said this, because, all right, that's like credit where credit's due. That's actually a policy, a proposal, which is more than most Republicans get, but
a terrible one.
He doesn't believe it.
Proposal.
he doesn't believe it. Like it's another smokescreen, because how would that work? Because I got news for, you know, potential president of the United States, Vivek Ramaswamy. We already have that. We already have procedures in place for involuntary committal for people who are going to be a danger. So my only guess is his plan is to loosen that and make it easier to commit people. And so you're saying that in order to protect the access to buying firearms, you're going to loosen people's freedom of existence. Like, that's what you're saying. When that's not going to fly anywhere with anybody, left, right, center, doesn't matter.
No,
it's not a solution, but it's just a distraction.
Yeah, because you see how people respond to red flag laws. I mean,
exactly.
Is it really that far off from a red flag law as far as what they're trying to do?
It's worse.
It's a lot worse. So it makes no sense whatsoever.
None at all. And it was just, and I love that he said that, and he also added, you know, we need to look at institutionalizing people, and we need to look at faith-based programs to help us. What are you talking about? Like,
he's just faith-based programs, which is interesting that he's always referring to the Christian God when he is himself as a Hindu man.
Right. Yeah. I am actually the one area in that I do have respect for Vivek. There's none except this one. I am impressed that he actually publicly admits his religion. Like, that really does surprise me, because if you want to be a darling of the conservatives, like, you already got a strike against you not being a white man, and now you worship a different God. He doesn't like wear it on his sleeve.
No.
But he does, because you ever see like his speech, his like list of things he gives every time he makes a speech. He has like a 10 commandments.
Yeah, like a
thing.
sense of purpose. Like
God is real is the first one. The first one is God is real, which I like ballsy, but because I mean it's not going to take long. But like, wait, which God, Vivek? Well, which God is real that you're talking about here? Because I'm pretty sure Jesus of Nazareth is not the God of the Hindus, or one of the many gods in Hinduism. And so it's the guy is a genuine. The guy is a genuine sociopath, which is why he works so perfect for the Republican Party. Like he doesn't have any scruples or morals at all. And so that's what actually does surprise me, that he sticks with admitting that he's not a Christian. That's pretty impressive to me.
Well, as we covered on the show last week, there are now polls coming out that say that there are some Republicans out there who trust Trump more than God.
Oh, yeah. I was sorry I missed that segment of the show. I was very hungry and I hadn't eaten. It was like 8 p.m. and I had decided to leave. But I wasn't surprised by that at all, because growing up in a hard right Christian evangelical fundamentalist cult as I did, Donald Trump reminds me a lot of evangelical preacher, not in like the knowledge of the Bible or stuff like that, but just the confidence that he portrays and the showmanship. They eat that shit up. And the first thing they tell you in this, like, hey, listen, if your friends and family aren't on board with this, you need to drop them. This is the important thing. And so I wasn't surprised to see that at all. Like, of course, they love Trump more than they ever loved Jesus.